Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. So I recently had the opportunity to sit down with another Phantasy Star content creator, DeployableLover, and this is the first in the series of videos that we're hoping to do, which we're calling Ragol Memories, which is basically going to be a look back at various things, including how we got into PSO, what we think of the franchise. It's just basically us just sitting down, chatting about PSO and how it's impacted on us over the years. So for this first episode, this was one of the first times we'd actually sat down and talked. So it's very, very rough and ready. And we're basically just doing a run through episode 2 and just discussing PSO as we go through. Hope it's something you guys enjoy. We are planning on doing this as a semi-regular thing. So if you do want to see more of this kind of thing, please let me know. Also, go and show DeployableLover's channel some love as well. We've collaborated quite a lot on this, so by all means, go and check his channel out as well. He will also have his own perspective on there from his point of view as well. So we are hoping to do this potentially maybe once every couple of weeks. So if you're into this kind of thing, keep an eye out for it, and I hope you enjoy the video.
So have you ever had much downtime then from like Affinia? Did you sort of intentionally set up playing like Phantasy Star Universe and NGS just to give yourself a bit of variation, or have you always been sort of fairly consistent and solid on one game really?
So particularly with PSO, I've always kind of been in and out of it. So obviously nearer the time when it released, I was on it pretty much religiously, pretty much constantly on it. But I think over the years I've been it's more or less like on off really. So I'll find other games that I play for a while, and then after that I'll find myself itching to go back to PSO again. Unfortunately, this time the urge to stop playing hasn't really happened, and I'm still here.
Well, the thing is, for me, I've normally got like it's almost like a 3-day rule. Like I'll tend to play most games like that I really enjoy for like 3 days consistently, and then I get to that third day and I'm like, wow, I just feel super burnt out and I'm not really interested in this anymore.
Yeah.
It's just not happened with PSO like at all. I don't know what it was, but like when I first started playing Affinia, which was like 4 years ago, and when I said started playing it, I mean I think I got to like level 15 or something like that, just on my own. Had no idea that I could join a party with someone. It was tragic.
Okay.
And I kind of just like put it down, and this is the first like proper time that I've actually come back to it.
All right. Okay.
And I just haven't stopped. Like I realize I wake up in the morning and I'm like, I can hear like the rare drop sound sometimes, and I'm like, this is not normal. I shouldn't be thinking about these things. I'm 30 and I'm engaged. I shouldn't be thinking about these things.
Just dreaming about red boxes.
I know. It's like, you know that meme? It's like, you know, where the guys turned over and the woman's in bed. It's like, oh, I bet he's like thinking of females.
Yeah.
Like that. And it's like, oh, I'm actually thinking of like these little rare box drops. That's me.
Like, if only I had a psycho wand.
Yeah. The main difference I'm noticing between my Hugh Cast and my Ramar is obviously like one's mainly ranged and one's a hunter, but
yeah.
the health difference is astronomical.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
My word. I'm pretty sure like level 70, my Hugh Cast has got nearly 600 health. And I'm like 2 levels off that and I've just got over 400.
Well, if you want some context, my Phone World at the minute at 150 has just over 1,000.
No way. Oh my word. Okay, yeah, I don't feel quite as bad now, to be fair.
Yeah, she's incredibly squishy. She does have 2,500 TP, but yeah, she's incredibly squishy.
I'm gonna skip this dialogue just because I'll read it back on my own accord.
Yeah, there is nothing interesting there's nothing to miss in it.
I didn't want to say it. But you said it for me.
Yeah, it's essentially it's, hey, we've made a new simulator, go and do it. That's about it.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is PSO. That's about as good as it gets.
PSO explains nothing.
I'm here, I'm present. Well, this is new.
Yeah, so this... Yeah, this area, it was used for... I believe it might have been a battle map for some versions, possibly. I know Spaceship was definitely used for a battle map.
So battle being what, like PvP or? Yeah,
there is a PvP mode, yeah. It's a little bit janky, like a lot of things in PSO, but it's kind of funny to do as well. I was actually doing it a few days ago, actually. They've got this mod on it.
It's still active on... Oh, of course it is, because you select it when you set up the server, I forget. Yeah.
Yeah.
Scroll past it, don't you? Yeah.
Yeah, so you've got like the normal mode, and then there's challenge and battle as well.
As you can see, my damage here is absolutely lethal.
It should be a little bit better, at least with the buffs.
I'm gonna get slapped. Oh my god, slapped and paralyzed in one go. Wow, welcome to episode 2.
Yeah, it's alright. I'm paralyzed as well, so... The lilies are really, really annoying, to be honest.
Yeah.
It only gets worse in Ultimate. Let's say that, the same lily has paralyzed me about 3 times in a row.
Okay, my freeze really is not doing bits for me right now.
Make that 4 times.
This area is just like Crystal Maze.
Oh, yeah, the mapping temple is absolutely horrendous sometimes.
I was going to say this is horrible.
Not helped by PSO's camera as well, because the camera just gets stuck on everything.
I noticed that when we fought the dragon on the spaceship map, like after you kill it, your camera is like stuck to the floor, or at least it was when I killed it. Like you just couldn't move it around at all. Like I mean, you can't really in PSO anyway, but
yeah,
when I killed it. It was like the camera was at my feet, and I was like, this is the most uncomfortable I've ever been.
Yeah, and then you have to go through the warp to get back to Pioneer, and you can't judge where it is because the camera is looking up at the sky.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I remember the first time I fought a grass assassin back on the Dreamcast. Didn't even realise that after they like spray you with their web that you can still look around and attack. I thought I was just paralysed. So I would just stand there and just take it like an absolute champion, like just getting swung at by everything, not even defending myself.
Just standing there like, come on, what do you got?
Yeah, like, just hanging around. Oh my word, wow, where did you come from? Surely I'm going to assume the barrier to entry for a Forsen is going to be your fluids and stuff that you're buying really early on, because you must go through them so quickly.
Particularly if you're doing it as like a first character, Force is really, really difficult early on just because of the amount of money that you spend on fluids. It's actually hard to actually make money early.
Right.
Once you get later on, it's honestly not too bad because you get to a point where you've got so much money that dye fluids don't really affect your budget too much. And to be honest, even tri fluids, you know, you've got that much money, it just becomes a non-issue.
Yeah,
but definitely early in the game, though, it can be quite hard sometimes.
I'm running around. I'm following you, and I think you're following me. So I'm just like running around.
Just running in circles. Like a dog chasing its tail.
Yeah, literally. So, one thing I did want to ask you, actually, just whilst we're playing this, is in terms of like ultimate changes between like regular enemies.
Yeah.
Are there any like major differences? Because I noticed obviously there's a few changes with like bosses. I'm going to assume some of the enemies change as well.
So yeah, it's mainly for episode 1. So for episode 1, so have you never done Ultimate at all then?
Not at all. No.
Okay.
No. Even in a Dreamcast, I never even on version 2. I never really got around to it either.
Okay. So basically in Ultimate, particularly in episode 1, there are a ton of changes to the enemies. A lot of them actually get new models. A lot of them will act quite similar, but there are some that are changed quite a bit as well. So an example would be, I don't know if you know, but the lilies in Ultimate spit Megid instead of poison.
Oh my god, that does not sound particularly fun in the slightest.
It can be a bit, you know, dicey sometimes.
I was going to say, because I get hit by the poison 90% of the time anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't think this is going to bode well for me. Do you not think that this game is like, it's such... When you explain what you actually do on a day-to-day basis, it's such a hard sell to a new player.
Yeah.
It's the most, like, same but different game I think I've ever played. Like, the general rundown is, like, really simple.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
The more time you spend in it and the more you invest in it, the more you get out of it. And that's one thing that I really like, because at face value, I'm sure there's plenty of people that have played it. They've ran Forest 1, Forest 2, probably died to the dragon and gone, like, the combat's too hard, it's too sluggish, This is boring. And then if you can just get past that barrier, I truly believe that the game is like, it keeps on giving constant. Right, so I've never actually fought this enemy at all. What is this? Is this not...
So this is Barar. So basically think Darola. As much as it's like a similar boss to Darola, actually, I think I prefer Barar just because I prefer the way it looks, and I think there's enough interesting changes in the fight to make it different enough.
Yeah, I completely agree from what I've seen so far. Like, one of my biggest gripes with Darola was, like, I don't know, he spends the whole time trying to kill you, but then also has a power nap on the raft for about half an hour.
Yeah.
I should just smack the, like, living daylights out of him.
I forgot that Force is not really the best class for this fight.
I'm going to assume Ranger probably is a good class for this, but I'm just demonstrating it terribly. And yet again, not a single rainbow ball was dodged.
To be fair, I don't dodge them most of the time as well.
No, I literally ate every single one of those. This is a very cool area, though. It's like very like mines looking.
Yeah, I really like Spaceship, honestly.
Have you seen like the forest area screen?
Yeah, yeah.
That's really cool. Wow.
Yeah, I really like that.
There's so much attention. Is this like a caves? Oh no, it's a waterfall. I see that. You think for like the time that this game came out, that's a lot of attention to detail, isn't it? To like make use of the resources.
Yeah, for them to sort of showcase some of the areas in the game in this area. I just think it's a really cool idea.
Oh, that's wild. Yeah, no. What's your least favorite enemy in the game to fight?
So there is an enemy in Seabird, which is the last area of episode 2. I don't think we see any in this quest, thankfully. There is an enemy called a Del Depth, and it's one of the most infuriating enemies ever. Basically, it spends most of its time. The way I can describe it is, you know the slimes in caves?
Yeah.
It's essentially a dark one of those that you can't hit most of the time. When it does become hittable, it's got super high evade and you'll just miss constantly. It freezes you all the time, and in Ultimate they give it Megad as well.
Oh my word.
I hate them.
Who on earth designed that?
I get the impression it was someone who was very angry with the world.
Yeah. Or just like on their way out of like the Sonic team office and being like, right, I'm sick of this.
Yeah, last day before the quit.
Yeah.
Have fun with this.
You guys have pushed me to this. But I'm going to assume that's why a lot of people have fairly negative things to say about episode 2. When I say negative, I don't mean like hating on the game, but they tend to avoid it as much as possible.
Honestly, I think one of the main reasons is just because of Ultimate episode 2. For some reason, they made the decision with Ultimate to give almost everything a way of instant killing you.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
It's really not a nice area to run in Ultimate.
When I've been watching some of your streams and watching you guys go through like tower and stuff.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And you're like, yeah, so this needs to freeze. If this doesn't freeze, we die. And I'm like,
yeah.
Oh, that can't be the case. And I just watch. I'm pretty sure it is. You play with someone called Draken, don't you? I think I've seen in some of your games.
Yeah, he's a regular on my streams, yeah.
Yeah, and I think I was watching him actually. Well, I was watching your screen with him on it, and you were like, yeah, so that's the first death. And I'm like, oh no, it's happening already.
Yeah, Tower is basically the worst of everything in episode 2, all condensed into one area.
Sounds horrible.
So yeah.
Absolutely horrible.
Pretty much everything in Tower can instant kill. But then they make it worth running by stuffing a load of the really ridiculously rare stuff in there.
Yeah, so you're almost, your hand's like forced in a way.
Yeah, yeah. So the sealed J sword that I keep mentioning, it drops from an enemy that is most numerous in Tower.
So would that be for your Hunuel? Would that be the ideal weapon for that particular class? Was that just something you've been hunting because you like the idea of it?
It's a really, really nice weapon, but honestly, it's just because it's something I've hunted for years. I hunted it originally on GameCube PSO, like back when it released, when I first got to Ultimate.
Oh, and still had no luck.
Never found it.
Do I dare even ask what the drop rate is? I bet it's ridiculous, isn't it? Well, it must be. Clearly.
So it's from a mini boss. So the drop rate is 1 in 12,500.
Oh my word. That's criminal. Like, who made that? That's ridiculous.
And to make it worse, it only drops on one section ID.
Oh no.
Which is Skyly, obviously.
Oh yeah. Wow. And to unseal it, what's the criteria for that?
You have to kill, I believe it's about 23,000 enemies with it equipped.
1 in 20, how many, sorry?
It's about 23,000 enemies.
23,000.
Yeah.
I thought you were like, oh yeah, just like 23 enemies. I thought that's not too bad. 23,000. Yeah, that'll do it. That'll take you some time. There's a reason why people are, even after 20 years, are still playing this game, and it's not because
definitely, yeah.
They're trying to unseal stuff all the time.
They're still trying to find it.
So this, like, when he jumps in the air, like my camera is just like, it just turns into a dwarf.
Yeah, it's like you don't need to see the floor for any reason, do you? Like, no, like the floor jumping up to hit you. No, I don't need to see that at all. No, why would I need to see that?
Spatial awareness, do you, by any chance? I'm having a terrible time.
Yeah, honestly, Gold Dragon is pretty difficult. I remember doing this guy in challenge mode as well, and he's an absolute nightmare in challenge mode.
Dare I even ask what challenge mode is?
So it's essentially fixed stages where the spawns don't really change, but you start at a fixed level with fixed equipment, and if anyone dies without escape doll, you fail.
Wow, okay, that's quite savage. Yeah, this is what I mean. Look. Is your camera on the floor right now?
Yes, it is, yeah.
It's just like, why? There's nothing here.
It doesn't achieve anything.
No. It's like, do you want to look at this big-ass screen in front of you? Because you now can.
That's the only reason I'm thinking of that did it, just so you can focus the screen, but...
So you can stare at it, but...
So you can look at your character that you can see anywhere. So is this your first time seeing this?
So I've been on, is it Mountain and Seaside? I've done literally once for like 5 minutes, but I don't remember hardly any of it, to be honest. So this is, yeah, I suppose you could say virtually completely new to me.
So did you start out with the Dreamcast version of PSO then originally?
Yeah, I did. So I mainly played version 1. So
right.
Stuff that I literally haven't even seen. I mean, coming to think about it now, version 1. So I've actually still got version 1 in a case like behind me for the Dreamcast.
Okay.
But there's a lot of stuff that, you know, like actually playing this now that you realise how rough around the edges version 1 really was.
Yeah. I went back and bought it later just to try it out because I'd never played it before, and it was surprising how rough it felt, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even looking back on like the display for like your vitals and stuff in the corner and like the overlays, like they're all so different.
What I love about this area, so this area and Control Tower, the music here is super chill. It's probably one of my favourite tracks in the entire game. But it's one of the most dangerous areas in the game, particularly for Control Tower. So it lulls you into this false sense of security.
Yeah, I never forget when I first loaded into version 1 of the Dreamcast, and you get that like forest tune as you first get into forest.
Yeah.
Like, oh, everything's fine, and then like you get like a Hildebear that just randomly just jumps on your head, and when you're a low level, that can like one shot you and kill you.
Yeah.
Okay, I see what we're doing here now. Okay, these traps are lethal. Why are there so many traps on a beach, please?
Scare away the tourists.
Yeah, it must be. It's like shark control. We don't use nets anymore. We just use traps.
Just put bombs everywhere.
In no other game would I have attempted to run through some rocks there, but in PSO it makes sense to try that.
Same with walls, isn't it? You know, you see a panel on a wall and you think, that's a fake wall.
Yeah.
Any other game, people would look at you as if you've got a problem, but in PSO, it's normal.
It's like, oh, just let him do his thing. He'll be fine.
So, how did you actually find Blueburst then?
So, I actually didn't know about Blueburst until I saw a video. I was just like sifting through YouTube, and I saw like an old video. This guy, I'm pretty sure you might even have seen the video. It's like a Dreamcast long play.
Okay.
Like Phantasy Star Online. It's a guy called Ricky C, I think, or something. He does a lot of like older retro games.
Okay, fair enough.
One person commented saying like, I still play this online now, and I'm like, wait, what? Like, how, what? Like, am I missing something here? And then someone had already put the comment for me, like how, why, like where. And
okay.
Literally just like typed it in, and I was like, oh, this is going to be ridiculous to install. It's going to be like so hard, and I need to install like really old hardware and all that sort of stuff. And I literally installed it, and because the download's so small, I was like, wait, I'm just like in Phantasy Star Online, a game that I've not played in like 20 years. Obviously seeing my dad like play it on the Dreamcast, like when I was a kid, I used to literally, like one of my favorite things to do as a kid was just to sit next to him with like loads of snacks and just watch him play Phantasy Star.
Okay.
Which like by today's standards, you'd probably think like you're watching a guy like press a button 3 times in succession. Like, how could that be interesting? But it just was. It was fascinating back then. Like, I think like obviously nostalgia is a big part of it, but I also
definitely
I do really enjoy the social aspect of it, like the community and.
Yeah, I think PSO definitely made it a lot easier for that to happen. I suppose particularly including things like word select in the game as well. You know, it wasn't even just about communicating with other people. It was about sort of breaching language barriers and everything as well, which I think is
Yeah,
crazy
yeah,
for a 20-year-old game.
Oh my god, there's 3 traps. Oh my god, what has happened?
It's like, how dare you
I
go
feel
for those
like I'm just
boxes?
like, I wander off and then get myself into trouble, and then I'm like, can you please help me? This is what this is.
Yeah, so this is Gal Griffin.
Oh my word, that's cool. That's very cool.
I love Gal's design. It's such an interesting looking monster.
So once he's on the ground, has he got any like specific attacks you need to be aware of? Is it very much like dragon territory? We just watch his feet.
Yeah, so he'll start charging this.
What?
Yeah, so this is the Seabird. This is the last area in episode 2.
What on earth are these things? Oh my god, they've got tentacles. Oh, it's trying to whip me. Oh, there's another one. Okay, all right. I see what we're doing here. We're boxed in. Okay, all right then. Is that an invisible robot?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Oh, great. Okay, I see where this level's taken us now.
Yeah.
So we've hit a new low. Okay. Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's invisible again. Oh, it's behind me.
These guys are incredibly annoying, and they hit like trucks as well.
Oh, this is like some Resident Evil stuff. You go into that tunnel and there's like lasers and stuff.
Basically, if you get them so that you can't see them on your camera, they can't hit you.
No way. Is that a thing?
Yeah, so if you position them so... Has it stopped attacking you now?
Yeah, it has.
Yeah, so then if you sort of... You can kind of position yourself and still look onto it, but without getting your camera back on it. And if you can do that, you can hit it without it being able to hit you.
That's so funny. It's interesting because you can kind of see where PSU got some of its level inspiration from, especially when you see areas like this as well.
Yeah, yeah. There is definitely a progression, I think, from PSO to PSU.
It's just a shame that it's such a vast difference. Whilst it's a good game in its own right, it is just such a departure, isn't it?
Oh, definitely, yeah. I mean, I still do feel like it feels like a Phantasy Star game, but it is such a big departure from PSO.
You can see reflection as well.
Yeah, it's a really nice effect, honestly.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's meant like an undersea research facility, I think.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
really cool.
I really like Seabird.
I'm possibly the only person that's ever played this to enter the level called Seabird and be amazed that there's fish.
Yeah, so this is the fun part of the quest. So this is the final boss of this quest.
Okay.
So I think you may have seen this before, possibly.
We'll see. We'll see. Oh, I don't recognise the arena. What on earth is that noise?
That's the boss talking to you.
Oh. What is this, please? I recognise the sword.
Yeah, the sword's pretty iconic.
Okay, why do I feel like I'm going to get destroyed already? Olga Flow.
Yeah, that's about normal for this guy, to be honest.
No, what is this?
Yeah, I actually haven't seen him do this for probably a couple of years, honestly.
Did I just dodge all of them? Am I good at this game now? What is this? What is this? This does not look good. Oh, dear Lord. Okay. And we're running. And we're running. We're still running. What? Oh, this couldn't be any more you if you tried. It really couldn't. Thank the Lord. Please don't let there be a phase 2. Please.
Would now be a bad time to tell you some news.
No. Oh, no. Oh. Oh, but is it like a... Okay, is he just going to like... I can fight him if he's like this, as long as he remains like lifeless and limp.
Yeah, second phase. Second phase is him just staying on the ground doing nothing.
Just sleeping. Yeah, so I could fight him like this easily. Oh dear Lord. Well, here we go.
Yeah, so I can't guarantee I will survive this either.
This can't be worse than what we just experienced, sure.
It's far worse.
Oh no. What's the two things floating behind him? Are they like separate enemies or what?
They are what I'd basically describe as his mag. Basically, Olgafloor has this super attack that it does, and the mags power it up. So if you can destroy the mags, it'll weaken it, but it can be quite hard to actually destroy them.
So it's better off just to focus on him, I'm going to assume.
I think most people, particularly in Ultimate, people tend to just focus on Olgafloor, because with high-level party in particular, you can tend to just defeat him before he does anything. Yeah, so that would be the ultimate attack that I mentioned.
Right.
So for this part here, he actually turns one player into Flowen, which is a character from the story. So you can see he's turned me into Flowen.
Oh, that's crazy. Why did you do that? Is it just... Did you do anything with it or not?
So basically, he gets very, very angry, and if you hit him with the wrong element, it hurts me.
Oh, wow.
Problem is, you don't know what element he is, though. So you have to basically experiment with different attributes to figure out what he's weak to. Yeah, he's still Dark Element, I think, unfortunately.
I mean, I think the likelihood of us actually finishing this is probably fairly slim.
Yeah, I think if he stays Dark Element, we're not going to be able to do it, because obviously I can't use Megad on a boss, so it's...
To be fair, though, for an experience, I'm happy to call it there, because that was really, really cool.